Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how news again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wahala now we had, let's just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for eat in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when they cook the soup or plasas where they like pass all. So now that make we dey bring to you this program where we call Colres, as we dey look at different story them na the front page and inside the newspaper. So not forget to join me on Monday to Friday, both Facebook and YouTube. Usai we go bring to una different guests them where they can help for talk about the newspaper. We are channel for the people, the voice of the voiceless.
Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how news again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wahala now we had, let's just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. Some man really like for eat in the morning. Some people say them just like when they eat don't sleep. Other people say na the cow they like, especially when they cook the soup or plasas where they like pass all. So now that make we dey.
Good morning and welcome to another edition of a program we call Colres right on we are on YouTube and on Facebook. Well, normally inside the program we can look at the front pages of the newspaper and analyze the issues that were there inside it. But because today na Easter Monday, we decide to give you special package inside the program we call Colres. So we actually they expect Imran Silla from the Strategic Communications Unit we for come and talk on the side of the government. And we as well they expect, Saido Kagbo, we same way so they represent the PDP, Sober Party, for let himself come and talk to we within themselves think about the 5 years of President Bio. For now, we don't get inside the program. Abubakar Darami, we instead of the communications for the APC party, we don't join we inside the program this morning for let we discuss issues them we get for do it waiting they happen inside the country right now as we dey talk so right now. So if that be the case, we're not going to waste any more time. We'll go straight to the first guest who don't get inside the program. We're Abubakar Darami. Good morning and welcome to the program, Colores.
Good morning to our viewers and good morning to the studio operations.
Okay. Normally, when we can get guests inside the program for the first time, especially the Colores program, we can ask them this traditional question because Colores basically nothing this way we get used to inside the country. So the question for you now: when last you eat Colores?
Wow. Honestly, for me, it don't take me not to rest possible. I hardly eat rest on a normal basis.
Okay. But the time we be the eat rest now, waiting at the source we left for eat more Colores.
Best Colores we made ever taste. I think
Petite leaf. Wow. So you different. Some people can talk about cassava leaf, but you tell what petite leaf. That's good. At least we get different tastes.
You have to make you one properly. When you want properly to the crowd, then it is all the balance now. Give a left na the soup.
So that the cow more like you like.
Yes.
All right. So anyway, we hope we can get the Colores from you and the petite leaf Colores from you this morning. So let me start. Good one. 5 years of President Bio now we look at, and we basically want to touch on several issues. We're not able for talk about all because it boku so much that we know we get time for that one day. But the key amongst them, we want to talk about education. We're in the flagship program now, and then they boost off of everywhere. corruption, the fight against corruption. Of course, this government, especially from the president, we call the last government a Nyampi, including in rest of his team. We want to talk about the economy, and the bread and butter. Of course, the bread and butter have been said and they provide for the people of Salone inside 6 months, and then going for stabilize the economy, because they find out the last government be don't wreck the economy. Even before they take over, they be know that one day, so they say then they hit the ground running. And then we want to talk about generally all of this focus on what they call good governance. So if we first start, before we take the individual issues there, so 5 years down the line, under the leadership of President Julius Maada Bio, how we could describe in government?
It's I guess small problem with the connection. Just give me a few seconds, I'll reconnect back.
All right, not a problem. The program that collects on we had on YouTube and on Facebook, we actually they talk about the 5 years of President Bio. So we get Abubakar Darami from the APC communications team, and we expect Imran Silla from the strategic communications unit, now the Ministry of Information and Communication, where will come for talk on the area of the government. And we as well they expect, Saidu Kagbo na from PDP Sobe. Okay, from PDP Sobe. So yes, welcome back, Abubakar. So tell me how you could describe the 5 years of President Bio.
Well, you outline three things. You outline education, you outline corruption, you outline the economy.
Yes.
If na me, they mark the paper for President Bio and education, I go give him 10%.
10.
If na me, they mark the paper on corruption, that particular paper they are the chairman abonam. Then if na me, they mark in paper on economy, I not even allow him for enter the examination all because I know say you not get nothing for go. Rightly, you not get nothing for talk about, which means you not even get 0 if you get absent in that. Then now I can go in, I can just touch a brief why I say then things in education, why I go get 10%, at least for make the pronunciation that if they do the free quality education, just for the pronouncement, just for the intention, now make I go get that 10%. But following that intention and all waiting they pronounce about the free quality education in a manifesto in 2018, when they promised 1.
All right. Connection. We did talk about the education, corruption, the fight against corruption. All right, you get me?
Yes, it talk about education.
Yes, go ahead.
Where he say they pay the school fee for picking them. Now primary school we na 75,000 leones. We the interview on BBC in 2017. It states that 75,000 leones now something like $7 or $8. That one day he do them. On the other hand, he promised say he go build primary school now every chiefdom and every ward in this country. That one day he not able for do and fail. One school in no bill. The only 2 schools where President Bio on commission. Now the Kadisi school na Putloko, when a gambling company, a betting company, when a Mercury, now the Bilam. The next one na Moyamba, na a mobile company when a Africell Bilam. And not been one school no sign in this country. When you talk to them, people, they let them show you the location, the chiefdom, the ward, the town where they build school. That is 1. 2. In educational system, now they rob Peter to pay Paul educational system. Now so many they call them. Because college fee now be 1.2 million, 1.5 million leos. Now they don't ace them up to 6 million to 7 million leos, about 200%, of which when they pay the picking, when they picking and pay school fee in a college, they don't ace the school fee by 4 million, more than 4 million. That 4 million then it take can pay school fee for over 50 picking there in a primary school. Way down in a rob, if they rob the picking there in a college, can pay the school fee for the picking them in a primary school. So government not spend to do panda education day. On the other hand, they say it carry core textbooks from the very first year where we see them give core textbook. Teto today no more core textbook. Then say they carry exercise books for the picking them. That one they say from the first year. We not see that one day they happen. On the other hand, he say they only picking the way they do sciences. Now university, then they get fees them for free. They know they pay fees. I beg when I go to College of Medicine. Let when I go see where they drop picking in a College of Medicine where they do science course. Private university will say they support. When this government comes, the first 3 to 4 years, Lincoln University lock the students and the lecturers in the language, negotiations upon negotiations, in people away get a government and begin to deny say they're not part of setting up Lincoln, including the financial secretary, until documentations then come out. Where me feel say at that time the President Bill is serious if I don't sack them people in it because they lied to them. Then on the educational drive, President Bill state say all them teachers the way they teach, where them picking and they go school, university, then forget they're not for pay school fee. That one they say not happen. Then come in presidential spokesman Keke Thomas Sandy. Allah say them picking and not go pay application fee in a university. But up to today, then they pay application fee. The university they ask them, then they pay application fee.
But if I can remember, let's just take you back into it you talk. The application fee for university, if I can remember the first term, they ask the picking for pay and then say then go refund them back. That not been the first year. How you they tell we now see them still they pay? Because they be telling them they refund them the first year.
Today, I mean, they say that me for talk to, I want to do a survey. When I get to the people in a Saloya, I want to go to the universities, them take 10 students at the universities, and I ask them, then go tell them whether they pay application fee.
So let me look at the other area. Classroom, remember one time where the government and the European Union been saying they build and commission 100 classroom na different parts of the country, including Bo, Putloko, and all.
European Union?
Yes, and the government of
Salon. Then come in for start for build classrooms, additional classrooms and all. But they say, we're posting the LP, we're posting the crop you back, you say for the airport on Watadi. If donor, they come for help for build classroom, as them in done they do and before from the Sababu project come to this standard of the regular. You as a government, you for champion and they let you able to do something where you can show to the people and see this school. Now we build them as a government, now 100% government fund follow build this school here so. They're not able to do them. They say when they come in 2 years, then they stop afternoon shifts. Come see if afternoon shifts not there. Now all the schools say the schools say we stop afternoon shifts. St. Edward's when I'm in school, we stop afternoon shift because we the old boy there. Now we they contribute with money. Now we build new building now we school. FSSG, where I get people waiting at the board. Then stop afternoon shift because they're reducing in class size and they're reducing the intake. One classroom not built at that school yet. You go to other schools, if you come out from services, you go to collegiates, you go to grammar school, come to Edwards, come to Prince of Wales, go to Rokel, go to Model, go to Convent, go to Independence, Richard Allen, Bishop Johnson, and they call all the prominent schools in Africa. One classroom, this government's not being late. I talk about the city. Go upline now, go prove me back wrong. So if you talk about education, the things they will put in the manifesto say they can do, the president say he go build a standard library in every district and establish a standard library in every district. One grade one they no build. He say he go build a standard laboratory in every chiefdom district chiefdom headquarter for the schools same. One laboratory they no build. These are things they in the manifesto page 35 to page 39, where the state say they go can do in this education. So if they not do all NTR so where are the states, they say they go put quality on this education. And the only way they put quality, one, now for bringing new syllabus. Two, now for do teacher training. You get trained, you send teacher and go places them where they can go train. You get ongoing training them where you go to do for teachers them in country and all.
But I think let me as well talk about scholarship for teachers them as well one for go study.
Scholarship for teacher they want to go study. A big let us show you the record of almost teacher them we don't go study. Then they may say any teacher within a school where they teach one for further studies locally and not they pay school, and not they pay tuition.
Exactly.
A big when I find teachers they can supply now its numbers and people within a university when are teachers them, then they pay their fees, then they travel them back to school now college you not pay. So for me, it is a whole. The things that we them promise are so beautiful, but the things that we don't do, trust me, they're not able to do them.
So this area of education, the truth of you self don't confirm, say yes, then they pay the tuition fee, for example, for senior secondary of 75,000 leones per year. You know, but a lot of people them get this way out and they look at this. You don't pay for picking from class 1 till you don't go SS3, you don't sit, and then the picking not able for provide fee for go na university for like able for get himself to for continue. So this again, plenty people they say they make plenty of the picking them they drop out of school.
75,000 leones presently in our present economy today. 75,000 leones is something like it's something like $3, less than $4. So now 75,000 leones.
Yeah, but then they say plenty people not able for afford that, which means that then they try another area there.
A pair of shoes for you picking for go school, it past 75,000 and the parents in the buy. Uniform for one pair of uniform past 75,000 and the parents in the buy. For let picking they go school every day, the transport way they pay for month, they pass 75,000 now transport they take, say they use 10,000 a day back and forth with transport on go. For me, you give picking lunch for go school, of which one bread now na 5,000 leones, bread don't come up from 500 leones to 5,000 leones. Then butter when I been 4,000 leones and go to 25,000 for either picking a lunch no more for the month, don't pass 75,000.
But then get school feeding program where they help again with this for the Cumbra and we not able to afford for them picking them.
Same way, so I'll throw that question there back to you. Check which school where they feed the picking there each and every day. Now the one whole country and give me back the record.
All right, just hold on. On that point, we actually don't get Imran Silla from the Strategic Communications Unit. We don't join we inside the program. Imran, good morning and welcome to the program.
Yeah, good morning.
Imran, before we go into the discussion where you meet we on, we get a traditional question we can ask in this program because the program in na Kulres. So we can ask a question of, for example, when last you eat Kulres?
Oh, people always know me say me. Of course, my favorite na cassava leaf by the way.
Yeah.
And cassava leaf in fine one in the morning. For the one that we actually like cassava leaf in fine one in the morning.
Okay.
So for me, Kulres na normal thing in my life. I'm not there into which you could call chicken and chips, a hamburger, or bread and sausage and egg. Me not to that kind of person, you know. I'm very traditional. I care for it rest in the morning. If you give me any other tea, the waste to tell.
Okay. So now you can provide this cassava leaf Kulres for we. Interestingly, Abubakar Dahame don't give we in a petit leaf like so una then at the two different angles. So let me go now to you. We actually want to look at, we're not going to talk about everything where the government they don't provide or where the government is supposed to provide for the people. But we take on a flagship program where in education, where they take the fight against corruption, where they take the economy. All of these fall inside or under the category of good governance. 3 areas, no more. And I don't talk to Abubakar Dahame. I don't begin to talk about the area of education. First of all, it's a education you go na 10 because una make the pronouncement and indeed una they pay 75,000 for the picking. It's a on the area of corruption. In fact, it no go allow una go take the paper a bonam. Let una no go inside because una no they do anything inside a fight day. And the last one in our economy is say it no go allow una at all for let una go inside the all because una no get anything for offer. Now the area they want to talk about. So we begin for talk about education specifically. What in you go talk about the education, you know, especially the area of free education and the educations generally in the country because it fall under the area of human and capital development.
I think it good for your area of position, right, and then views. But then una self where they control and platform there, una need for begin the transition. And at this I don't push for some time now. Which I mean say una need for transition. Una need for move this discussion forward. It's 5 years of President Bill. If una want down there for Bill una own bread and butter and comfort zone, then at some point some of us would have to leave some of them platform there and go to the other platforms that already provide opportunities for Yei within the opposition, their own plans and policies. Because that's the that term they will now. This country.
Okay, so in your opinion, we for left for talk about waiting on a talk and begin look at the opposition. I mean,
ladon. Yeah, this is April. We only have May and elections in June. If we're not able for begin year or the one that we get for votes, not able for begin year within the opposition, their own alternative policies on free quality education, on healthcare, on the economy, right? Then you simply just give them a pass, a free pass, which is what you're doing right now. For attempt for no time can sit down and they talk about the government in 5 years without actually getting him or any other person from APC. What are your plans when it comes to free quality education? Which are our policies? Which one are the plan for do? If even they're not able for crystallize it, right? You have the skeletons, right? And then skeletons, and they will supposed to be able for begin to hear them and see them and feel them as to which are the alternative to free quality education. Because for Kamnoma and consider now at this particular point in time when elections are in June and just very criticisms and this now it's a disservice to the whole election process.
Okay, so even I ask you question, you continue, but I'll ask you this question. Let's take into consideration 98.1, AYV, SLBC, and all the other big traditional media house them. Usai, you go ever see the way they're not go ask you about 2 or 5 years?
No, there's nothing wrong about that.
So now there we start before we go to the other part, right?
No. You missed the point. I should say, listen with profits. Listen with profit as to which are they trying to say. Yeah, I'm not saying those questions should not be asked. Alongside asking those questions now in April of 2023, you should also be asking in the same breath the question to the opposition: what are your policies? What are your plans? It's about electorates now. It's about voters. I just collected my voter ID. When was it? 2 days ago, right? So the voters, they're also supposed for able for begin to learn and listen as to which are the alternative plans and policies.
You're very much correct, and you're right. I support you on that area, but let's still start on the area of education. How you go assess on a performance?
It's a disservice. So ask the question alongside that one day. That is what I'm asking you to do.
Yeah, we could do that one day, Imran. You before you for them, you get for Boku food. Solo look for Susa Boku food.
So this, again, I take you back. You hold a research. I don't say to myself. I get the gentleman from the UK way link me up with for the very first time we get this platform on our to share platform. For which I invite me and talk about national issues. I think that Mohammed Kamara and I name, right? Through Mohammed Kamara, I meet you again, right? And we've been there for go through national issues and development and all of that kind of thing. And then I watch a more recent program where you hold, where you were not elevating those discussions at all. It was border on even when somebody called. I remember there was somebody called, I don't know if not from Yes or Usai, where they urge you say, let's just temper down them discussions there. Don't elevate them. You've been seen for big gung-ho. Yeah, for just the elevate discussion, something that will border on creating, but which I would like say, some kind of a strong insecurity and then kind of again, I said to myself at that moment, and I followed that program. I can't remember which had been the issue, but I don't know whether I get something for do court or which or whatever, right? But you been get that platform, and you leading that program there. I was disappointed. Because look, whenever there are sensitive issues, one of the things I think we'll get for do is to elevate discussions, right? And not partake. If you provide a platform for people to express their view, you also have a responsibility on your platform to guard that discussion, to guide the discussion. Right?
So I get a responsibility for guiding discussion, but the people just like you yourself know they allow me for take the discussion I want for take them. I don't ask you for several times say, we talk about education, but you still not even talk about nothing yet.
It's your platform. It is your platform. It is your program. If you do not feel say you're able to control the platform and the program, don't do this job.
So now we start with you. If I get for control anybody on the platform, we'll start with you. Let me go direct to the discussion and answer the question you are asking.
If I were to be a journalist moderating a program, if I'm not able to get control of the program, I have no business doing it at all. None whatsoever. Don't give excuses that people are not they allow you because
Imran, you don't waste like 10 minutes. You never even talk anything about the issue. What would I ask you?
No. I beg, yeah. So it is my moment. It's my opportunity, yeah.
Yeah, so but at the same time, I get the responsibility for control you as well.
Abu Dhabi is a brother. Abu Dhabi is a brother and a friend. We don't come up far. Understand that one equally, yeah. I just feel this was something I needed to bring up at any other opportunity where I get on this platform.
Yeah, you don't express some. We agree. We don't deal with you. But now let me go back to the issue and people want for your about.
So, if you want to talk about education, in 5 years, we done 3.5 million and 3.1 million and counting in terms of the number of people picking their way down get access. And when they talk about the one that also we don't do public exams, I have stated this on one of them program they are, and you've been challenging and say, well, the data you get was about 2 point something, forgetting the fact that people then they progress. You know, nobody not just a day in school and they did it forever, right? From MPSC to Beckett to Waske, that we have provided that education for them. You know, I have traveled right across the country. Of recent, I've been there in Kailaon district. I've been also there. I talk about them border towns. I've been also there in Kono district. I go Moemba. I mean, with His Excellency the President. But it is good for make you go in them communities and then feel exactly within the mood look like when it comes to free quality education and how grateful them be for free quality education. I will give a few instances. In Moemba, in one of them, then towns and villages, then they will be go. The picking them and the teacher them, right, and parents then they express gratitude to His Excellency the President for a simple reason. Now they're picking access to education, number one. Number two, in some of them communities, then they before 2018, they not be actually get centers in them community then they. So within when they happen, then they actually get for the course water. So whenever there are public exams, now a course, now the other community, but that other community they for reach them, now what are you the course? So you have two risks involved. The risk for let the picking go first and go sit and pass, number one. But on that day, parents they actually get a fare. As whether them picking go travel safely because they now get for use boat for course for go now that community day and then waka go na the examination center. So when we reached there, the gratitude was the fact that they now have examination center and then they no need for cross water again, where it last about 30-45 minutes just for go and go take exams and come back, right? With the risk involved to and it is the same for Kono district. But when I get to Kono district, I met a young man. I'm not gonna ever forget his name. His name Josiah at the hotel. Nothing to do with free quality education. Not the go-to education at this material point in time. Actually, they work at the hotel Usa Lodge. And I'm just engaged because I'm it's light, so I've been fixing a generator, even though we don't go to His Excellency the President, right, for go and go turn CLSG line on. So now ask her in the morning because one lady do something for me. Now I say, na generator, I said, no. He said, bro, I said, you look like big person for me. He said, but I beg, no fit tell me. He said, we not get blackouts now again, ever since President being calm.
We
so
actually can't talk about the electricity, but we're still there on the education.
I know so now they can't talk about time. I'm getting to a point. Listen, with profits, I beg, right? Let's have a peaceful discussion. And so we don't talk about that one day. Now I ask her, I say, he said, now go on now for tell me. He said, in your satisfaction, he said, na free quality education. Now I said, what do you mean? I said, because you don't look like you go through school now or anything. Now I said, no. He said, look, he said, with education, a lot of minds are liberated mentally. He said, the more people we have in education, the more people get access to education, the more people go through education. It means the more people go able to think and understand things, right? And nobody can't fool them. And I say, really? I said, now you understanding this of this education? And I say, yeah. He said, not all man in life education the benefit. That was coming from Josiah, not that hotel. He said, not all man in life education the benefit. He said, even in developed countries, first of all, not all man in life education the benefit. He said, but one thing we common, right? If you get access to education, if you acquire education, is the fact that nobody knows the gap and can tell you things again because you have that mental freedom, right? And toughness for able to see through whichever then they tell you. And that was his own take on the free quality education. Look, from Kono to Moemba to Potloko to Falaba, right? Usai free quality education day, right across the country. When we don't travel, a lot of people the majority don't show gratitude to His Excellency the President for free quality education. They don't show gratitude.
So let me ask you this question.
That also school feeding program in them places, right? Where people picking and they benefit from and keeps them in school and it helps them to learn. We don't build over 1,000 classrooms, yeah? Okay. Right, because in 5 years. Recruited.
Right. So let's ask you two questions. One, The area of this quality, what you una go describe or what you una go refer to as quality in the education?
No, but quality only get one benchmark. Not to which anybody will describe. It cannot be subjective. I hope you understand. You have to have
so what you una go call quality in the system?
No. You can ask a much smarter question than what in quality mean. How go interpret quality?
Okay,
There's only one benchmark.
All you there, since that question is not smart for you. Darami bring you inside.
No,
what would they talk about quality in this education? We get the quality in the education?
Quality actually means you get access to quality education. And so here's the problem. Yeah. You don't achieve quality in 2 months, in 3 months, in 4 months, in 5 months, in 6 months. You don't achieve quality in 1 year, in 2 years. Even in the United Kingdom, even in the United States, even in France.
But in 5 years, we're not able to achieve the quality.
That make me point.
Yeah, I know, but you get for answer to the question then. We not get the whole time now for talk about all of them in there.
That question at the answer, but you know they allow me.
Yeah, so because you don't tell me say not an important question and I make a move on.
No, not a smart question. I'm not saying not important. I say it's not a smart question. Yeah, because even in developed countries, quality is something that they constantly review, that they constantly work on, right? That they constantly try to get right. It doesn't mean that then countries then they not get quality, right? But every time you hear them, they talk about quality. Every time you hear they talk about quality. And so you go begin to ask the question, does it not exist? It exists in some form, but how do you improve it? How do you make it better? That is the same thing for every other country and certainly not to any exception. So when we talk about quality, first of all, now how you can able to forget the pupil to teacher ratio, right? For which we don't recruit 11,000 teachers.
Okay.
When you talk about quality, how do you make sure that Pekin and go there and learn, right? Now there's classes then they, right? In communities. And that is something we're also trying to get right. That is why we talk about classrooms. Because if you want to talk about quality also, right, you get forget the available rooms then, right? For let Pekin able for go and sit down and get the people to teach us, right? So those are all things we have worked on.
Okay.
So if we look at the results, what they get, and the number of Pekin, the way they get at, where they take public exams now, MPSC, Becky, and Wasket, clearly they suggest say education, right, much more accessible than it was 5 years ago, right? A lot of Pekin and they take public exams. There are a lot of passes when it comes to them public exams then they, right? And then Pekin and they now they move on to tertiary level. So look, we don't do a lot for quality, right? It don't mean say the work is done.
Right, so that only the Dami, please come inside. You the listen exactly what's in Imran the sea.
Yes, please.
Yes,
I'd all listen. When you talk about quality, if you recall the question we asked me about education, I tell you exactly what the president don't do. And one thing I want to make you understand is that when the president, the NSI, even with me, I will tell you, right? If you put His Excellency the President on a platform, you put me on a platform, because he's a president, right? You're not going to see me, they go back and forth, they argue with him. I will not, because of the office we hold. I have to respect him for that. Which they say is when presidents go to various districts, when you bring the people and you put camera front end, definitely they have to say things nice about the president. They cannot go there and challenge them. But wait till me, they say, just as I say, I want to do an independent survey. Go to these communities. When you go to Moyamba, don't stay in Moyamba town. Go to Ribi. Go to a place like Waterloo. Go to other places. If you go to Kailaun, not stay in a Kailaun from Oshebema, in a Kailaun. Go to them Kisite and Kisitungi. Go to them Mobile. Go to them far-reach areas. Then you're able to talk to the people and understand. When you talk about quality in education, right? I tell you, I was honest that the education now, and they pay school fee for the Pekin, but quality comes from the type of education the Pekin they receive. If you not train the teacher, then you not give them training, proper training, you not bring new syllabus and all. Definitely, now the same thing with the Pekin.
But according to England, they get right something and call pupils to teacher ratio. We mean say they don't employ, they don't recruit like 11,000 teachers right now. We mean say it don't reduce the kind number of Pekin we be needed to one teacher.
Wow. Almost teacher and don't retire. This past 5 years old or left the classroom. Go back and bring that record. They juxtapose them to the amount of teachers when they tell you say they don't recruit. You find out that you take 2 steps back forward, you take 2 steps back, you're still in at the same position. Going on to teachers where they don't recruit, go back to the school system. Go back to the school system, say go look almost speaking in a classroom now. Let you see, other than the school say where I don't highlight and other things, it's still about the same. And you talk about quality, definitely get for bring teacher training come in. My brother may ask say one for everything we could do differently. The things we'll go do differently than they, but now we assess the president in 5 years. Now the president only for 5 years they make statements in the manifesto before it comes on, and then things and they will look at. So in these 5 years, we assess what's in the president we don't commit to in the manifesto, and then things and they will ask about, and then things and they will use for measure up. Tembo can we go talk about what we get for do to what we don't happen. But for now the president and don't take 5 years, they don't make commitments into it.
And one other thing where you talk about is say they don't be like 1,000 classroom as well, where they very much important for the picking them.
My brother,
if they don't build 1,000 classroom, let them tell you the exact location, district or ward outside they don't build this new school. Always I tell you, always they do, we are una get people in a salon. Any side where they tell una or anything they give una can go back and go find out. I don't call all the schools in a free tongue. Outside we day. Me na post where they apply most of the time. The schools in a free tongue, the prominent schools say I don't call and all where everybody know. Definitely whether you didn't at the east or you didn't at the west, if you go upline, you look at the schools the way they upline and all. If you go to McKinney, you get the Batch, you get the St. Francis, you go to Bo, you get CKC, you get the Bo school and all of that things. Same, you go to Kenema, you get K school. I can call the schools everywhere. You go to Moyamba, you get the Afford and all. Let we go back and look into them schools and let them tell we the building where the free quality education don't build it. We don't stop the afternoon shift. It is not there. We talk about evidence base. If they tell you say we don't build 1,000 classrooms,
we're able for highlight or we're able for name at least 5 schools in this country with the outside and the location say, go there, this is what has happened there. Make mention of the schools and where the president go commission. We the one at Potloko and the one at Moyamba. I tell you exactly who that them building schools and when the president go commission.
But
and this president and one president
remember they be all a very big program. They be all a very big program na Bo outside as well commission. They say they commission the 1,000 classrooms then.
Then commission that one day with the donor partners and that thing go get for do. Where are the schools? Are they there? Let we go and show this president and one president way anything we do. If they go there for go commissioner, for let the one whole world say, now this you don't do. You understand? Anything where you do, or anything will happen, if they go there for go commissioner. So, not so secret. Government is not a secret. And we get with data from the Ministry of Education, both basic education and higher level education ministry. We get with data from them. So if there's anything, we get them. So maybe not something one don't know about. I go on for let them bring and come up. Let we understand. So we say go take that triple and go verify with this school, this area where they say they don't build 1,000 classroom here. Let we go see what's in the happen there. You talk about the teachers. Yes, they don't recruit new teachers. They don't get teachers in PIN code. But same way so, you get teachers where don't retire from the system. They're able to tell you almost teachers they don't retire from the system. For now, because of the low salary where the teachers can get, the teachers are not even motivated. Because if they pay teacher 1 million leone 5 years ago, that teacher still get 1 million leone now. They don't do increase in salaries where they don't get about 15% to 1 million leone is about 150,000 leones, and then put tax on them. When they put tax on them, so the teacher they get 100,000, say 1,100,000. But now the teacher they buy one bag rest 670,000 leones. From Tradewe they buy 180,000 leones. Now that teacher they buy 1 pint per mile, one for cook from 3,000 leones. Now the teacher they buy 14,000 leones. While they bring their things and they come in, it's the value for money. So which means the 1 million leone the teacher they gets now, or 1.1 million leones, value for money. Juxtapose to goods and services, that teacher they're not able for feeding family, they're able for take care of himself. So it means life is very difficult for him.
We're not able to highlight the problem of the people right now. We're not in people really want for you. But you sure say if una take over power, una no will come and they give excuses them like what with the
No. Which are the plan?
One, we assess the president in 5 years. It don't do for 5 years. And when they say person don't do for 5 years, now we don't do in a classroom 1 year, you don't do from 1, you fail, from 2, you fail, from 3, you fail. Now we can't sit public exam. And anybody who sit public exam, when you fail last school, you know they sit on there, then they drop you, you go. So if you talk about the things that we can do, we don't do for education. all these years, education on day, all the things that we don't do on education, when you look at them, waiting that we do the last 10 years, when we did in governance, we have a continue in that developmental trajectory. Usai government be the subsidized for college fees them for picking them, where college fee now be 1.2, 1.5 million loans, as opposed to where now it is about 6 million, 7 million loans. We will pay subsidies to school. I will tell you now the subsidy where they are for. Now, first quarter subsidy don't reach to all government schools. And this second term, school just locked for second term now, then they go to third term. Now the first term subsidy don't reach to school. I want to go back and go prove this and ask this. So outside the quality there where the schools and they get the funds for me they're able to build furniture, provide learning materials and all. How could the quality reach these people?
That means subsidy na thing will be done the delay, not to the first 10 days.
Thank you. Subsidy don't there forever.
Yes,
subsidy don't there forever.
Well.
But let me tell you, when you talk about quality, then Kiala say then they'll pay subsidy, then they pay this. These are things that we know they mention. Now, like when you papa in a house, you pull chop money today, you know they go to junction, go begin the say, hey, I don't pull chop money, I don't add pandy chop money, I don't buy shoes for me picking, I don't buy bread for my family for let them eat. These are regular things that way don't they happen. From a schools and there you get government assisted schools, you pay subsidies to schools and for that they're able to run, but this now be the way now the schools and they struggle. When school open, when they not getting subsidy on time, you find out say the beginning they go school 1 month, 2 months, nothing not they happen because the school not get money for buy chalk. The school not get money for buy half of learning materials them and other teachers are waiting at the school where they not get PIN code. Now the school they able for subsidize small and give a small team for letting stay in the schools. But if the subsidy delay, this now second term don't log into third term. Now first term school fee they happen, they come in, waiting you expect the school same for do. Usai the quality come out. Usai don't go able for provide learning material. So what has been happening to the school same? Now that make we don't see the poor performance of school same over the years.
So if una they talk to people and now about waiting una intend for do, you know, the message, waiting will be the message, where could be different from this of the of our president's view.
Okay, now ask another question. Okay.
First of all, Mr. Silla, initially they asked me the question, which you know good. Now they ask me the question, you know, for answer. The first thing we will go do, because education is very important.
All right, Imran, I'll bring you come inside.
So
the area
before the schools and the open. Okay. Before the first time they start in September, we make sure say the subsidy they not reach the schools and before September where schools and they open. We go prioritize that as opposed to any other thing where government get for do. Once that's not happen, the schools can get their money, they're able to run adequately, and we go make sure say we get the district monitoring officers. We make sure say they therefore monitor each and every schools and the district, and we make sure say we get a team where they monitor independently for make sure say then school monitors and then they go into their schools and they make sure that one, the beginning and they go to school, two, then the syllabus and they run on the syllabus, three, the teachers and they go on time, and four, we make sure say the basic facilities and amenities that we're supposed to then at the school. Then they will not just relevant to the school monitors them, where they monitor, then go report to Ministry of Education. But we get an independent monitoring team where nobody no go know, then we just show on the spot monitoring for make sure we keep them on the toes.
Thank you.
And we get for make sure we get refresher training for the teachers them, where we get for the train the teachers a year in year out, make sure that waiting in SAB they upgrade into the new technologies and make sure the quality, the education the beginning again, education of quality.
Imran, if they make you point just so please come inside, you know, in the area. Now when I get this message and when I get for go back, when they ask back for a second term in office for letting give una and the education self be part, what thing will be different this time around?
So I think say important for not to say Abu Dhabi not talk anything not happening right now, right? It clearly shows that they do not have a policy on education, which I mean by that. If they talk about school monitors, 160 school monitors, we call them supervisors, have already been employed. Yeah. Where they run around schools and do exactly what Abu Dhabi they suggest. So they don't have a policy, yeah. Given what they call, I mean, it's a very pedestrian approach in terms of which the APC plan for two. Now they try for less so because all of them and then I think they're already there in place now.
But you go agree with me, say nothing not the different way any of the government and they do not the same recycling.
No, it is different. It is different.
Waiting so different because all of the subsidy, school fee, and all been done they happen before.
Yeah, so we're doing more subsidies now.
More. I like the word more. Go ahead.
We're doing more subsidies now in terms of the number of monies being paid, right, to schools across the country. Yeah. If you check the figures, then it is more. So Abu Dhabi, I mean, if you go back, because we don't talk so now, not clearly they suggest say anything, APC get for do anything. They don't have a policy in place. I make Abu Dhabi, they struggle for repeat things that were already there in place right now. You know, if I no certain thing and they in place, just they talk and say that they didn't plan.
But you said don't agree, say no new thing or they not just that we need for step up for do more.
No. In terms of subsidies, the number of schools being covered, government schools and government-assisted schools, a lot more schools, over 3,000 schools were brought under the fold, right, where government take the responsibility and government still get that responsibility there for provide subsidies for them.
Number one. So more on they do.
We are talking about over 3,000 schools. We don't come under the fold now. Yeah, so now that make us say subsidies don't go up in terms of the general allocation, right, for government schools and government-assisted schools. So Abu Dhabi is actually saying nothing. If you go back now to within an APC, the record in the 10 years and 8 months when they spend in power, right? Because that is something we also get for RECO. So in this discussion, they spent 10 years, 8 months under the late Minkaluba. All within them, they do not ghost teacher there. I mean, Minkaluba be defend. They spent 10 years, 8 months. There was a recruitment freeze. No teachers were being recruited. None whatsoever. That was why government didn't get this burden now for recruit teachers.
You know, when I watch you expression, where you talk about the ghost teacher where we all be no but you the smile, but when they want to go back to 5 years, you say let them talk about what for happen next.
So because you're not talking nothing substantive as meeting and plan for school. Now that make they go back now to the record. Right. Now because we talk about recruit these monitors there, we already have 160. We're already there across the country. So you know, don't say anything removed from within the happening right now. It just basically they confirm the fact that it was necessary for recruit 160 school monitors. It was necessary for get one and they bike so that they move across now the various locations for the monitor within the happiness school step and give feedback. That is what he has done. So in the absence of anything substantive or major we get for change in terms of the policy, you can only go back to within and do now.
I'm gonna ask you this question again. Apart from the school feeding program where una reintroduce again, waiting been done, waiting una they do women not been done they happen in the last government.
So this is it. I talk about the number of teachers being recruited. It did not happen. There was a
them be the recruit, but it be low.
No, there was a No. In actual fact, their policy was a recruitment freeze. Yeah, they did not.
No, there was no recruitment freeze. Recruitment freeze came when there was an austerity.
There is no figures, nowhere, no data, no statistics where they suggest say it was a deliberate policy under the previous administration for actually recruit teachers. It did not happen. Now, ghost teacher Mikhailo left for Fente in term done 2 times as Minister of Education. Now the ghost teacher left the FEN. I don't know how successful that was, but I spent all in term they do. So look, in terms of waiting we get for do going forward, number one, right? You start off at some point, you talk about, quality. Yeah. That is something continually that we on government will get for continue for work on. Okay. Now that we know that the ratio in terms of access to education don't go up by 80% across the country from district to district, we are at a place sufficiently enough where, right, nobody is being deliberately denied the access to education because government is providing that, right? We have recruited teachers, 11,000, right? We don't make sure say, right, we're improving on classrooms.
So the question is, waiting on a plan for doing the second term, we could be different.
That's the point exactly I'm making. Yeah. Now, how we will improve, continue for work on the quality aspect to education. Okay. You know, there is a reason we make very recently winning the GEA award as to the best education teacher in the whole world. Now, David Moynihan and Senga Dengi. Yeah. There's a reason for that. There's a reason we make year on year with MCC scorecard they come out, then they rate we highly when it comes to human capital development and access to education. That is simply because, you know, international community, they rely on we on data as a government. Yeah. The international community now we and then they na salon. They have their outfits now this country. Then they do their independent assessment. Then they do their individual data collection and statistics and all of that in it. And it is consistent with we own internal data as a government in terms of which we do in education. So look, we are getting it right. And that is why you see His Excellency the President and go call on the United Nations and tell us to go co-chair a panel on education, or David Moynihan Asenge, when they do an assessment around the world, then go give an award as the best education minister in the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
That shows something is right.
Waiting happen. Waiting funny in that, Dami.
It's going to keep me on the side. They go give us when I say award as the best education minister in the world.
Yeah, we see it happen at Dubai.
Imran.
Yeah,
Imran
that's
on the left, On the left.
shows-
Now UN for Gogia, not to the mushroom organization for Gogia award, they will take it seriously.
I mean, I should say Abu Dhabi will laugh, right? But that one day, because I mean, except if an award as to the best education minister often goes teachers there for 10 years, 8 months. Then I mean, Minkai Luba will get a posthumous award for finding those as 8 months at this country.
Okay.
Right? But then look, on a serious note, I think we get for continue for do more of the same. More of the same in terms of our aspirations for make sure that there are more classrooms around the world, around the country. More of the same in making sure that teacher training program continue for meet the aspirations of teachers and the aspirations of the country when it comes to teachers their ability for teach. We will go for continue. We don't already not forget in the first 1 year or 2 years of this government. We been review teacher salary, and then we had to, improve on that salary day again. Yes, we know that there are inflationary concerns, but look, you probably didn't at the United Kingdom. Who had them in strike recently? It was doctors and nurses, and we then call them. They talk about more salaries as against inflationary pressures. So inflationary pressures is something where they touch every single country.
So let me move away a bit from the education and let's take on to another thing. I want to talk about, because I have 3 areas I want to talk about, quick one. Let's talk about corruption quickly. According to Abubakar Darami, he say the area of corruption it will burn on a paper because on not get nothing for offer, you know. So if we for talk about corruption, both the two sides, you know, the government and the opposition, one for look at waiting look better because anyhow it be question mark there with regards to corruption. In as much as we get international indices them where we now go the point toward question marks them there along the way. So let me listen to you, you know, how you go first of all in just short. Let me make a quick. How you go grade the fight against corruption right now under our government.
So I'm glad you raise up the fact that we get international benchmark that we meet, right? We don't meet them year on year, and the MCC scorecard are just one of them. The point is also now the fact that they have been captured, right, by the international community and for which we have been commended for, shows we're doing something. Now, look, one of the things that we don't change majorly, we get audit reports every year. Under the previous administration, I've been only the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament. Now,
look. Audit report, we don't get no use.
Now then have been the sole determinant as to which happened with audit reports under APC, right? It was only the Public Accounts Committee. Now we review the ACC Act, give them more powers, give them more teeth, right? And then get more latitude and freedom. So as the audit report they come out, we don't take on that responsibility for make sure, then go through the audit report, right, and write ministries, departments, agencies, or individuals, then where they find culpable and ask them for pay them money then they back. So in this last audit report, I've been talked to somebody now the ACC, and there was this issue about something with them procure and depositing and getting the money, and then ending up for provide the thing where they get money for and for which you get contract for. And ACC was quick at that material point in time, at an instant, for make sure that gentleman then bring him in, interrogate him, and make the necessary recommendations and get them for pay, right? I know say they don't pay them and then they don't. I know say there are several of the instances then they not the audit report where ACC in real time now they look into the audit report. So ACC non need for wait for Public Accounts Committee in a Parliament to get a statutory responsibility. That's the beauty of we don't fight against corruption. Because we are seeing commitment, we're seeing real-time actions by the Anti-Corruption Commission on the audit reports there. That is what is different. And that make you find out, all we international partners, they commend we in the fight against corruption. In terms of the number of money we don't bring coming, those are record numbers, first ever in the history of this country, and first ever since the introduction of multi-party politics in this country. We will continue for do more.
So let's ask this question quickly. You talk about the money when I don't retrieve from corruption, right?
Yes, sir.
And if I can remember, some years back, the president been tell we Clinton say the money when they retrieve from corruption business, they go to a specific project where they ring fence them for this. I think dialysis lab also or hospital now.
Diagnostic center.
Diagnostic center. Yes. So waiting on
Cancer diagnostic center, and I have the diagram.
No, the diagnostic center is ongoing. It is ongoing. So not like we say, not that.
So waiting now. Who's phase one are they right now? Who's phase one are they? Who's phase one are they right now?
President, we don't go, they don't go turn the sword. And it quite clearly
Usai.
This money is being ring-fenced for this project, yeah? And so we know that work there is ongoing, yeah? I think in Kerry Town.
Exactly. Usai the Ebola Center be there, yes, correct.
His Excellency the President been done, we actually the go applying. And we stopped it. Me not go applying with time. I came back to Freetown. So I was there when it happened, yeah? And we know that project is ongoing. It is not dead.
So let me ask you this other question, please. You know, when it comes to the fight against corruption, Imran, when it comes to the fight against corruption, you think, say, the opposition gets then supposed first is the head up and talk about corruption?
Well, you know, Abu Dhami go answer that question there, but
no. Now you are the ask because I will get for asking.
Indeed.
So now that they can't now, but I sure say instead go answer them and do the bravado thing. For begin to talk about which then do in the fight against corruption. But we all know which in the record on the fight against corruption at this country. We all know which happened, yeah, during the term, particularly the second term in office. Right? Then left wing austerity. Then say now we can get the fastest growing economy in this country, the world.
So now we get them not ready for take up governance issue again. From the leader to down, you think they then get the right for stand up and talk about corruption?
So here's the point, yeah. We record on the fight against corruption is something that has been internationally recognized. With efforts on the fight against corruption is something that has been internationally recognized. Abu Dhabi can't sit down there for the administration in 10 years, 8 months. It can't sit down there. There is no way to talk about that.
Okay.
Because after the fastest growing economy, right, during the term, then left waiting austerity. Fastest growing economy, the left wing austerity in this country. Mismanagement, corruption.
So I can doubt about this word. What is exactly now the word austerity?
Well, ask Abu and define it for because we know say na then talk about austerity.
Yeah, but because Una self been taken as one of the things they want to use against them. So let understand what it mean forget austerity.
But now then talk about austerity. Now then formally announce the country then austerity.
And then Una self come and confirm says they allocate the country and they left the country for austerity.
But now then talk out. We confirm and we kind of power.
So what did Una confirm? What did Una be mean by austerity? Una confirm?
They left this country bankrupt totally.
All right, totally. Quickly. Let's come over to you. Let's come over to you.
Sir.
Let's look at the area before we come to the area of austerity, the area of corruption. You think, say, from the leadership taken down in this government, then supposed for talk about corruption?
Okay. When the president will come, we may get a handing over note where His Excellency the President Anas Baikroma give to President view of what they do if it's stewardship in office and always then get and they not question them. Page 21 of that particular report, they state that we receive education, the budgetary allocation and disbursements to education was 3.7%. Under William administration in 2007, we move them up to 15%. And in 2016 only, 2016 July to 2017 July, the records are there in the Ministry of Education. We approve over 400 schools all around the country. And just in that 1 year, we built 225 classrooms. That is in page 23 of a handing over. Go back there. I give you the address of all them schools.
Okay. So let we move from the education. Let's go back to the corruption.
We talk about corruption at this country. Yeah. 5 years in, year out, from President Bio in world, he say when it comes in governance, it's
the program where you watch right now, right on we are on YouTube and on Facebook. We'll get people where they watch you where they can. Please not forget for like and share the program. We actually get Abu Bakar.
We need the audit reports they come with the findings
from the Strategic Communications Unit. We don't join. Abu Bakar, you line be the break. So continue.
Yeah, we don't see any outside audit reports every year. For the past 4 audit reports, we don't get. Government don't lost over 600 billion when none of them money, then nobody no account for them. We see outside them bring a charge on the audit report talking about the money given to the First Lady's office. The anti-corruption boss turned PRO for First Lady office begin talk say in the begin for investment
from Governor Clark's in the web, not from an web, from Governor Clark's in the web. Take them to date, and we see nothing not come up from there. We don't see outside audit reports say come out where in the office of the president. It might not be the president directly, but we see outside then say a receipt and go take receipt for hotel where actually they don't exist. We see outside they use a pharmaceutical company.
We see outside they use a pharmaceutical company as a travel agency. In the audit reports, we don't see any of them things and they come out. Year in, year out, even last year alone, 2022, we see outside the money no account for about 157 billion where we're not able to account for. So waiting the anti-corruption don't they do? The anti-corruption only
with all of the analysis there, but then still they get
opposition.
But with all of the analysis there, then still they get very good personal international ranking. For example, the MCC, transparency report and all.
Well, and when you look at waiting and getting in MCC, the first good report when they get in the MCC report card was in 2018. Based on what we do 2016, 2017, bringing the Ebola funds to book, make sure say the audit and bring them publicly. Now COVID run down, so 30 days they not bring COVID audit and now allow them to audit COVID. Now that make their numbers and don't they sleep. This most of the things that we can benefit from now, which we set the platform for, and then kudos to the former commissioner of the anti-corruption, when Adi Macaulay, some of the things that he do, where he left office in 2018, and they report to the day. Now then this government can take and then they job up with them from when they take their reports and they're not the slide down. But we don't see outside the US State Department on pull and human rights, they don't pull statements about the corruption the way they gone at this country, that the anti-corruption. Only prudent will go after opposition leaders, and we don't see institutions like Maritime. Maritime, they don't change their director general and Maritime, like how iPhone they come. Every year they get new director general because of corruption allegations. We don't see institutions where they don't count corruption. We don't see the former chief minister, when are the present foreign affairs minister, journalists and bring story about a $1 million in Eco Bank. We don't see that story they go anyway. The only time we see that story they go,
ask you the question of this
journalists and then put them in prison.
Let's ask you the question of austerity. I decided to ask you, what do you not be mean by austerity?
Okay, austerity is an English word. Now when they put in an English word, let me put a man Creole. When they say austerity, government mean just to tell we say, because of the Ebola way hit we and other things, the way we get money, we know they get money. So the things that governments they do, when are things they were not of need to the people, of utmost need to the people, we get for draw them down. For example, we know they allow any government office for let them procure furniture again because then they take money. With procurement in this country, they take about $300 to $400 million annually. We get for draw that down. If minister they travel, only essential traveling say, oh no, say where go. Government for they go bring something for the country. Now that one day we allow them to go. Then on the other hand, if minister they travel or government officials and they travel, then they fly again first class, so then go fly economy. If government will buy motocar for institutions, well, we not get money for buying motocar again. We not go spend them because we get for spend on education, we get for spend on healthcare, we get for spend on the basic infrastructure where the people they need. With the old motocar that we get, we go there repair them. If government will give money to people and for other things, we not go do them. Now that one they will mean by austerity. Okay. That one they don't mean say government will pay salaries. Hold on, that they don't mean say government will take up your responsibility and pay public exams. That one day when we institute austerity. Now the record that they used to 2016 to 2017, we approved over 400 schools. We built over 225 classrooms, of which I can send all the data to now. Usai each and every of them classroom are there, and the schools that we approved them, we approved well over almost 1,000 teachers them and all. Then say now ghost teachers will be defend. We don't defend ghost teachers them. The one thing I want to make you understand, they say the meeting economic, but when President Bio take office, 7 days after I take office, it take a huge delegation in first trip now to Senegal, not to money we carry to na private plane you go with. Now the money from the COFAS and from where this government come, they don't make sure say then they pay salaries from the very first month and all. Now the money where they meet and begin pay salaries and create a lot of offices, of which the wage bill from 1.9 trillion. Now the wage bill is about 4.4 trillion annually. Also, this now all the burden where they put on government.
But now salon people back when they get job then they employ.
Now we waiting.
Now salon people will not get job than they employ.
You get for employ salon people that will not get job. They employ salon people that will make sure that they meet the criteria for coming. You know, they go take somebody, jobs away people, they do salary, they pay them 4 million, 5 million. Now you bring and come as a contractual job, you face somebody, they can pay them $5,000.
Okay. So how old you? Because the allegation and counter
allegation. You go create ministries, they will not get no use, like Ministry of Environment, where from what they create them, they get 5,000 forest guard. From Toka to number 2, they don't brush all the forest reserve where they did. Region to Grafton Highway, they don't brush all the forest reserve where they did. No reforestation and afforestation activity. So now 1 minute you don't get no use.
Imran, you know, international, you know, recognition, really they try, you know, because then the MCC,
then the people in the buy 670,000 for bag.
Yeah, the MCC they do a big mark on the area of the fight against corruption. But look at this conflicting thing. MCC the praise una for corruption. The US State Department they cry una down for corruption. Una concerned about them two things there.
So look, one of the things that we make with the meet international benchmarks now because not to the one and they would aspire for. Now we have aspirations there as a government in terms of who's our one for carry this country to, yeah. And so if a byproduct of with policies, plans, and programs for the people of this country now means say with the meet international benchmarks, then so be it, yeah. And so every international benchmark for me, I can always say, it shows we are doing the right thing, not necessarily within the international benchmarks and they suggest. So when they say they fight against corruption, we are on 89 or 78 and we don't call and all that, and it shows we are doing the right thing. It also means we have to be consistent, yeah. I don't mean, and some we therefore continue for do the right things there. So these are policies, plans, and programs that is not influenced by the international community. It is influenced by we manifesto and the medium-term national development plan. Now, along those lines, we do all we do. And if as a result we're meeting international benchmarks, then so be it, number one. Number two.
The question is, actually they meet international benchmark them, but at the same time, the same state department, where now the same government MCC day, but still state department the crown are down in the fight against corruption. Say when the cherry pick and all of them things then they.
So state departments can make their own statement in terms of how they view, yeah, within we do, and that is okay.
And we're not concerned about that.
It is okay. We note every single one of them, their expressions, and whether it's positive or not so positive. Those are things we note down. Yeah, we call them which you would call development partners. Yeah. So we can note their concerns and analyze them and see how we're able to do things better. So it is not only about within state departments we talk, civil society organization can also run criticisms, but we newspaper will come out front line, front page and criticize. We get a lot of, I mean, in a world that's interconnected as we live in the 21st century. You get criticisms from all angles, and so then criticisms, and then you take them on board, you internalize them, you see how they're able for help for make you better, and so that's the same approach we have in terms of every report we don't come out that is positive, right? Even when it is positive, we feel say we can still do better and work on those. When it is not so positive, we take them also on board and see how we're able to improve things internally, right? But largely, we are following the medium-term national development plan. Number one. Number two. In terms of the wage bill, I see Abu Dhabi talk small about wage bill. Now, we add right to that in criticism day, we are feel say a bit unfair, and well, not a bit unfair, very unfair. Now, the fact that if you have 11,000 teachers recruited on wage bill, if you get 4,000 nurses recruited on wage bill, if you get 1,000 police officers recruited on wage bill, if you get 1,000 army officers recruited on wage bill, if you add lecturers' salaries increase 75%, yeah, over a period of 3 years on wage bill, if you get teacher increase in salaries, right, and a further renegotiation of their salary increase than they, right, recruited on wage bill. Now you tell me if you get more judges being recruited, yeah, we mean say now every single district get in your magistrate and in your judge recruited on wage bill. Now you tell me whether that wage bill they not go up. I mean, it's just common sense. I know if I have a need for pass maths in school for another one, yeah. All of them
So,
figures
but
don't
una been know about all of this, but una been cry say the last government's wage bill plenty.
So these are necessary investments.
So the last government not to be necessary investments.
11,000 teachers. That money they not to be pocket the camp.
Yeah, but una still una been know about all of this say na salon people and for do the work. But una been still cry the last government not to be necessary investments.
They were spending money like drunken sailors.
Okay, how una they spend money right now?
for fly, and on traveling.
We don't increase wage bill, right? Because it's necessary for the aspirations of this government under the medium-term national development plan.
So Imran, I like one thing where you say you get when they make a presentation, one for be very straight. The last government been they spend like Don Conselo on wage bill, on wage bill. Now una self they spend on wage bill, and in fact una you don't pass the own on wage bill. And according to you say like, una they spend necessary, una they make necessary investment. The question is, they're not been they make necessary investment.
But if you get recruitment freeze now the Ministry of Education and teachers were not recruited, right? And you come and recruit 11,000 teachers, it's not necessary, right? If we don't talk about if we talk about maternal mortality and infant mortality, we don't drop. If we talk about immunization, we don't go up. Yeah, that is because we don't do the right things now the Ministry of Health, right? The right recruitment policies, the right programs that we don't roll out. And then they obviously get impact and consequence on the wage bill. Not forget, so we budget on healthcare. We meet them at 5-6%. You don't double. Yeah, that gets an impact clearly on the wage bill.
Okay, so we can go to the last issue, the last topic the economy. But before we go to that one day, you talk about the Don Conselo part. Last time with Darami, una been they spend like Don Conselo. And now, this government, they do the necessary investment. What you take on that quickly before we go to the economy?
They were an abundant the money. They don't increase in teachers' employment in the race. Today now, Brother Imran don't talk about 11,000. The other day, then they talk about 5,000. When you go back, you go look the amount of teachers and we don't retire the past 5 years. It's just about the same way they don't employ. Go back and look at the nurses and all. But let me not touch that. A teacher's salary is 1 million. We go look one of the people who they bring come as consultants. Go to State House. Now, one person they do the communication job, they win Abdullah Beriti. But now that the communication department at State House, you get over 11 people, and each of them, the minimum that they pay there is $3,000. And $3,000 presently, so the economy is about 66 million leon. 66 million leon. Down they pay something like 60 teachers them along the corridor. When you go into other institutions and other places, NAMED, we then bring come as a monitoring institution, bring people and they give them exorbitant salary. All them saying they increase the wage bill, create ministries, they will not get no use. Before they create ministry of higher education and basic education, you can create directorates in their ministries and then all we are in can do the same job. But you go create ministries and other things, and then the other thing we hit the wage bill, there are consultants all over for doing nothing. They bring people and coming in various other sectors, create all other offices them. And always they know they do anything.
But all of that's not necessary investment because people and they do the job.
Necessary investment at the expense of the people. Money on them for take for go build classroom. Money on them for take for increase teacher and salary. Let them get adequate salaries. Informate and pay them well. Of which they pay teacher now 1.1 million leons. We enable buy 2 bag rest. We buy 1 bag rest. Enable for feeding family. What thing will they talk about? The wage bill don't go up irresponsibly. Then this is just creating job for the boys. Then create the Ministry of Environment, bring 500 forest guard, where they no gets no use. From Toke to number 2, they don't build over 2,000 houses a day, of which you tell me say now employment around the way when necessary. Region grafting highway. Other places them now the cowboy forest and all, they don't deplete all them forests and is it a need to create such institution or such ministry?
Quickly, and let me touch on the last issue inside the program when are the issue of the economy. Imran, the time when una been the opposition, una are well aware say the government, according to una, like you just don't talk and just know, they spend like Don Conselo, they wreck the economy. So when una come, una know all of the problem and say when una come, una they hit the ground running. But just few days ago, we
will fix the economy in 6 months.
Sorry.
Then we'll fix the economy in 6 months.
Yeah, so
then we'll bring interest rates down and then we'll bring the exchange rates down.
Abubakar will come to you just now. Imran, just few days ago, we hear one of your colleague, on a particular platform, Epic Radio, talk say, una don't fail, but una fail because of the last government. What do you go talk about the economy?
So, number one, we need for slice and dice this economy over 2 periods.
Wait, listen.
Yeah, we need to look at the period before COVID, right, and the period COVID and after. Yeah, because then they will give you a clear sense as to the approach where governments take on the economy. When we come, we meet inflation at around, I think inflation was around 18% and counting.
No, inflation was 14%. I
But
have the records. Now inflation is 44%. 14%.
Okay, wait, we'll come to you later. Don't just make a submission.
Now, I did talk about inflation when we come in April of 2018. Yeah,
Yeah,
we meet at around or slightly above that one day. One of the commitments that we'll be making at that, we will bring inflation down, right? And inside the first 12 months or 1 year, 6 months, yeah, we see statistics Sierra Leone where they give a monthly kind of update on inflation. We see inflation. It came down to a point where it goes single digits, right? And then COVID hits. At that point, nations around the world, COVID will not make, COVID will not regenerate. We come all the way from China, affect each and every country. We see total lockdown of countries, stay at home. Even at UK also, are they under people and they for weeks on ending, they were at home. Now they allow them for go out except for essential stuff and we then call. And so international trade and international business became restricted. Yeah, for the one that they go buy goods them out of their country, therefore now begin to look to other places. Then initially for the bulk of business people and China they go, right? But when China locked down, we only opened very recently this year. As a matter of fact, people begin to look to Turkeys and all of them, and then you got for now, you go there, you cost at which you been buying things, then they go up naturally, right? Because production lines then become starved, not a lot of people, so not a lot of production. And then you get for now think about shipment, you get for now find the ship now where they come. And then prices then they all double or treble as the case may be. All of the one and they've been getting bearing on nation states them around the world. We know say UK inflation go up. We know say US inflation go up. We know say the region ECOWAS. We know say inflation go up. Yeah, we know say the continent Africa inflation and go up. But what we do was to make sure we did not run out of essential commodities. So we introduced the Quick Action Economic Response Program. We have to make sure so we tax deductions, tax cancellations, tax waivers, and tax deferment, right? So we'll be able to get to essential commodities them in country, even though the country been in lockdown, right? Completely for long periods. We get several lockdowns, we'll be spending three days at home, not going out and all of them. So, but again, we get for emphasize it, in all of them 10 and day, we still carry on with infrastructural programs then, while we were still doing the free quality education, we still been get with commitment on healthcare, right? We still been able to meet, right, with salary demands, even though the economy was tight because of COVID. Now, post-COVID now, you get for Ghana now gets the advent of the Russia-Ukraine crisis. Will obviously get your impact. In fact, very recently, where James Cleverly come, I've been there at the conference room now, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, where they asked him a question about the Russia-Ukraine crisis. And nobody no direct hand towards Sierra Leone as a reference. But ending up for bring Sierra Leone, can they say, and that's the reason we make, if we cannot bring the Russia-Ukraine crisis to an end, countries then like Sierra Leone and even we in the United Kingdom go continue for struggle. Those were his exact words, James Cleverly, the UK Foreign Secretary. He said, we will continue for struggle. He said, so we all get a responsibility for make sure, say, right, the Russia-Ukraine crisis come to an end. He said, because if not to done it, inflationary pressure, right, supply chains and all that of them will remain challenged for the foreseeable future. And that's the situation we'll find ourselves in. Despite all of that, we're still able to recruit teachers then, 11,000. We're still able to do the needful for healthcare. We're still able to do the needful on infrastructural development. We're still able to do the needful on energy in this country. And plenty of that in it.
So we find out, say, other countries, they mean as much as this Ukraine and Russia thing they go on. And the truth of the matter is they affect most countries in the world. But most other countries, they try for move out of them things and they by way then they put things them in place for later able for move from the Ukraine and Russia thing. I remember this BNTM President Biogo in a conference of agriculture where one of the African leaders they tell them about how they don't move from the Ukraine and Russia with and other things them. Now then they do the inside the country. I mean they struggle for get fertilizer. Now then they do the inside country. Most of the things that they get from Ukraine and other etc. where they make the things difficult for them, then they do it inside the country. We get opportunity just like that. The Toma bomb, for example, we get a lot of money will point to that and they wait for able for as we up for the import rest when they able per more from the other side and they but waiting don't they happen, we not see much from the Toma bomb.
So the production chain is such that even if you produce something like a country, you still therefore import some of the items and they right for do that production.
Exactly,
you have
but
to
that
understand
will reduce the tension.
So my point is, if that leader they talks it and they produce, it doesn't mean say they are now not dependent on importation of certain things. Them for do that production then at then country.
You're very much correct, but the tension don't reduce.
So that in itself poses your own challenge because you get for now rely right on suppliers. Right, and shipment and all of them and the validity and they can for do that production in our country. That's the reason why, even as the United Kingdom is one of them countries, then they will also try for produce things there. You still get inflation where they review on last month, it got up to 10.4%. It beat every economist in assessment because they were expecting that by last month, inflation will come down to single digits in the United Kingdom. It did not. It did not. Essential commodities and prices of them, they are still up, right? My point is this. Despite the global challenges, I can safely say on the economic front, we don't touch half the population of this country.
So
right?
I'll ask you this question. You correct on that area, but I'll ask you this question. You talk about most of the things, the economic hardship or the get and as a result of the COVID before and now the Ukraine and Russia crisis, ain't it?
The one and they don't impact economies around the world.
Okay, so now let me look at this. So much the we get what they call international rating them and other things them. In as much as all of the countries that are the world they get a economic impact from the Russia and Ukraine thing, but yet still we own country then the position are in a very very bad light. What I mean? For example, then go tell we say now we are the second poorest country in the world. And all man inside the world, and the second language tell we say we currency, for example, now the second worst in Africa. All of this, how this not get anything for do with the Ukraine and Russia thing. It get for do with how best we can manage one problem internally, right?
So if you talk about the second poorest country in the world, I think say you need to go back to the 70s and look at the data and statistics.
No, not the 70s, because you know one follow talk about the 5 years. But they talk about now.
If you talk about data and statistics and USA offend yourself in terms of poorest country and the reason why to make them say when call we a developing country, like every other country that within that category, it's simply because for poor economic policies over time, and this predates President Julius Maada Bio, you can go back to the 70s and
but will not be fair yourself in that position there before this thing.
So then data then they consistently right around that region there for the longest time.
But will not be the second at all.
My point is this. If you look at that one day, right, and it is okay to have that in mind, but also factor into that equation there, within don't be government approach. So here's the approach. Now that make I safely say, we don't touch half the population of this country. And that's an economic argument I'm very bullish about and can make any side at any day and at any time. Which I mean by that, we don't talk enough about education and the fact that we don't recruit 11,000 teachers, right? We don't talk about healthcare and the fact that we don't recruit 4,000 nurses, health practitioners, right? We don't talk about also the mention now Munafa and the fact that it don't benefit about 6,000 people. Also, they talk about the emergency cash transfer, which starts at the height of COVID. Right now, what is ongoing is the fact that then they try to reach out to 35,000 people across the country. For getting that emergency cash transfer. And not forget to the category then talk about vulnerable people, disabled categories, and all of them. And now then that money they benefit. So over 5 years, that emergency cash transfer don't benefit 80,000 people and counting. Over 5 years. So add that one day to 11,000 teachers, to 4,000 nurses, to 6,000, right? We don't benefit from the Munafa fund. And here's the interesting part. I'm not even talking about private sector employment and recruitment. Talk about the thousands of recruitment where the infrastructure sector don't see in terms of roads and bridges and all of them in a day. Add that one to the equation. That can safely say we don't take unto 100,000. But here's the most important bit, which we're not able to appreciate yet. Yeah. Now, and here's the context. You know, I grew up at a time where I only get to know this years later, where my daddy pay school fee for plenty people there. Because then the government did not have a responsibility for pay for nobody. Yeah. Me on tender why they go school, I go center or secondary school. Now only I can meet people who will tell me, hey, your daddy being good, now pay me school fee, now this. I knew none of this. I mean, as a young boy, would daddy keep you away from that kind of a situation and day, right? Our responsibility was to go to school and acquire education, full stop. But you know, it is heartwarming that you meet people and years on, right? We be know ordinarily, but you know, be ever no say now your daddy contribute to the education. And because then parents then not being get the money for pay for them. Right, them they dropped out of school for some time, and they in some instances them then out which makes they go to school. They say, well, we'll not get money for pay school fee. Now, none of that is the case. So there is an economic benefit. There's an economic argument in terms of free quality education, which I mean by that. Yeah, I know say you want coming, but I just round up. Which I mean by that. I actually mean say the fact that government they take that responsibility day, yeah, and pay fees for picking them across the country, 3.1 million. So far, we don't benefit from that. It means if me not get man a common community, yeah, I not get for worry again for pay school fee. Yes, there might be other things that way they can come and say, then teacher they ask them for, we then call and all that thing. Also, but primarily I know I do not have to pay fees for any of me picking the way they go school. Number one. Number two, if I get on average, the traditional family gets anything between 4 to 5 picking them, yeah. If they're picking and they're ready for take public exams, it is not the responsibility of parents them, no, so for pay them public examination fees them. No matter how little, right? It is still a burden for people them with it challenged, right? And can't
but for long term, people are not going to pay public exam fees.
Eh?
For long term, even before now, they're not going to pay public exam fees.
So I am saying 3.1 million. That is 3.1 million families. Okay. Yeah.
So we're very much correct, and a lot of people appreciate Una for that. But I'll ask you this question.
Can I come in?
No, you come inside just now, but I'll just ask you again one other question. You know, I just been to ask you a question about how we see them in terms of the poorest nation in the world, and how we see them in terms of the economy. We're the second, worst, currency we get na Africa. So the question where people want to ask for long term now, what's wrong with we bank governor? What's that idea? What's happen exactly? We make the replace them.
No, nobody not replace any bank.
Sorry.
Nobody not replace any bank governor.
Okay, so what's happen with bank governor? What's that idea right now? What's happen?
For a few years, the bank governor did not take his annual leave, which is entitlement. Okay. The bank governor simply asks, say, he want for go on leave, he want for do an aggregate of leave. Okay. Yeah, we don't do program. I mean, not forget to say, but we're not none of we not get any younger in life. Yeah, and so you work, when you get your leave, if you defer them, to the following year, and then so you're not taking the following year, you defer them back again to another year. It is still your entitlement. You can still able for do something and able for get an accrued period of time, off of work as a result of them leave them do take. And that is what the bank governor has done. Now, voluntary, right? A business down there that he wanted to take his leave, right? And then grant him in request for go on leave. And so the bank governor has gone on leave. Law not forget say, after in leave, he they come back. It is as simple as that. I wonder how people in the break sweat over bank governor taking leave, because the Bank of Sierra Leone is an institution. You have deputy bank governors. You have two, right? As far as I know, you still get other staff members than did it. In fact, get one my friend with the work in a bank where just don't take leave, right? And we get a remainder of 2 weeks from last year, right? We bring a car over. I don't take him. He just don't come back yesterday because he not been in our country, right? He just don't come back yesterday.
So when we go see the bank governor return back, because anyhow it be, if you take a leave, you take a leave of 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. When we go see the report, it return back. We go see him a return before the election.
Not to me the grant bank governor in leave request. Yeah, he gets HR, and obviously he was appointed by the president, right? So he gets structures then for go through for getting leave. Not to me the grant and leave request, but all I know is It's an aggregate of in leave. Now, the bank governor don't take, and that request was granted. He has gone on leave. When he comes back, he'll get to the job. It's as simple as.
So the rumor of they don't sack him or it don't run away, not true.
Look, so shortly after I taken leave, I was in Kenema, right, and I meet Andy. I meet Andy man to talk small, tell her how did this, how the body, then kind of that. So we get he recognize me wherever he see me. I recognize the bank governor when I see him. So people forget that kind of a warm exchange there, and that was it. So as at that time, I think 1 or 2 weeks after, I mean, he was in town. But here's the point. I mean, you can't, if somebody taking leave, then he's supposed to forget the liberty and freedom for do the things they want for do on in leave, not to so, and rest, and do other things then. Now, none of the essence of leave. I mean, Mr. Ever can take me leave. Nobody determines how I spend my leave. I can leave on a whole stage until 2 o'clock in the afternoon and attend that gap. Already I say where the go plan, already I say where the travel, I want to go Ghana and then kind of thing. It is my leave period. Nobody questions.
But this same bank governor being just don't come on leave. Where we see his snap with Lion and other things, then maybe just don't come on leave.
I think so you need to get your timing right. That time we snap with then Lion and then call was years back. It was years back. So not the last year I do that, and then not the year before last year do that. So go and get the timing right. My point is the bank governor take an aggregate of in leave, right? Ask for him, and it was granted. He has gone on leave.
Right. So now we people that don't get him now, it's on record from Imran Silla Strategic Communications Unit say the bank governor, they not sack him, he not escape, he not run away, he they on leave. So he return back.
So I'll just state one other thing again. The bank governor has been appointed by His Excellency the President. And based on that appointment day, there is also a timeline to run. Not so. I just tell like a chairman of board them and parastatals them and then they when they appoint you, I think it's for a period of about 3 years, after which the president can now renew them or bring somebody else come. So everybody getting your own timeline. Even in what I do, right? It pleases His Excellency the President. I'm directly being supervised by the minister.
So in other words, you dey try now for left room for escape in case he not return back. So it can be say in case he not return back, he could say, all right, I've been telling now. Well, now the president don't give the assignment to somebody else.
I can guarantee you say it come back. Which are simply the state is. I guarantee you say it come back. Yeah. Which are simply the states now it's about the practicalities of the work then what would it do. I tell you within a million stipulation when it comes to a million job. Yeah. President, the approval. I'm directly being supervised by my boss, the Minister of Information, Mohammed Gaman Swari. If President and Minister get a different view, right, as to my work performance and my work rate, as to whether I do the job, whether they ask me for do, whether they require me for do, if they get a different view, then obviously my contract can be terminated, yeah, and it pleases His Excellency, right, through my minister for do that one day, right. I'm just saying, every job, right, as long as it is a political appointment, getting your parameters, getting your set criteria, them and all of them in it. But I can assure you, say the bank governor go on leave. The bank governor would come back, right? And Lord, wait and see. Let down they happen, and then you could prove me or disprove me right or wrong.
Except
right?
if I not sabi English, the bank governor would come back. How they call it? Possibility for come back or not for come back.
No, would, meaning that it's a must, not may.
Okay, so it come back.
Would come back.
Okay, so thank you. Let me go over to you, Abubakar Darami. Abubakar Darami, let's talk about the economy quickly.
Thank you. I don't listen to me, bro.
If I can take you from the queues, I mean Imran being go first. Now the issue of the currency, when are the second weakest in Africa, the poverty when are the second poorest in the world, and all of them things. And the government been promised for hits the ground running, but Imran don't lay in foundation. Say if you look at the how the government will perform before the COVID, how they perform during the COVID, how they perform during this Ukraine and Russia thing, you could show say now because of the world crisis, but then be really do well because they even bring down the inflation rate to 1 digit.
We don't touch half.
Okay, let me.
And they don't touch half of the population their life.
They don't touch them negatively. Let me come in. First of all, some of the things when they bring come up, the emergency cash transfer. Under the APC, we start where Ali Badaraman Saleh was the commissioner and Nanaxa. Now start emergency cash transfer and the left our portfolio day Nanaxa. Come to Munafa Fund. Munafa Fund start under Dr. Richard Contewe in the Minister of Trade. Come to Captain Momodo Aliu Patso then continue that Muna Fafonde. Teachers recruitment, it don't happen all while. The only time government stop teacher recruitment, 2 years where we announced austerity, now we stop teacher recruitment, and under the APC we employ over 10,000 teachers who come in, and the nurses. Public exams, they don't pay public exam ever since. All throughout the APC reign, we pay public exams for NPSC, WAS, and Beke. We always pay public exams and all. They are coming to Usai Una startup from. In 2018, inflation rates have been 14.6%. Presently, inflation rates, inflation are 44% na the economy. 2018, the dollar was 7,300 leones. Date today, dollar na 2,200,000 leones. That's the exchange rate. In talking about the currency being the weakest, even during war, even during the time where we get Ebola, we currency always value past Guinea currency. First time in history, Guinea currency don't value past leone up to the point that we are almost 2.5 to a leones presently. When you give 1 million leones now, you get 400,000 Guinean franc. We see also from the audit report last year, 2022, the state say the president spent over 50 billion just in traveling in 2022. Then we see also the audit report year in year out. We see also over 600 billion don't go down the drain where nobody not get anything for answer about. Then we talk about public debts. The public debt in 2018 now salon. We debt in 2018 was 16 trillion. With public debt presently is 35.3 trillion in 2021. So when they talk say the debt don't increase because of irresponsible fiscal policies then. A lot of things and they we don't happen along this point. Wherein we see the bank governor, the reason why make them leave because it don't cause a lot of problems in this office. We see inside the car with new currency. New currency where they spend over $50 million for make them go print and do the desensitization. Where the bank governor come in and tell me to say that new currency not get anything where they do for we is only a psychological boost. And from when they bring that new currency, we see we currency don't they devalue up to this day now 2.2 million to $100. Then we go back a little bit. The dollar was 7,300 in April 2018. The terrible COVID strike this country also in 2020 and all. When we get COVID now salon in 2020, at that time the dollar was 1,100,000. COVID not reach it. Then we come to the crisis of Ukraine and Russia. We they talk like say salon day in between Ukraine and Russia. We they fire bomb na Ukraine if you not for done Russia and salon they for done. We need for stop. Salon and Guinea, we they at the same proximity to Ukraine and Russia. We then at the same position. Already hit Salon, hit Guinea from COVID to Ebola and everything hit the two countries. And we find out, say, Guinea, for the past 6 or 7 years, now only 2,000 they don't add to them fuel now Guinea, of which it come up from 10,000 to 12,000. We feel come on also from 6,000 to 21,500, over 300% increase in Salon. We find out, say, now Guinea, the same thing, now hit Guinea, now hit we. Dollar na Guinea for the past 7 years, 5 to 7 years, in between 830,000 to 850,000 Guinean franc. Guinea, all the things the way they do from where COVID hit Guinea up to this day, they know they pay electricity bill like Guinea. Lights are free for domestic consumption for houses. But we find out in the height of COVID now, so now the electricity tariff, of which for the past 5 years, electricity tariff don't go up. And we, where we pay electricity in this country, don't go up by the tariff don't go by 300%. In the height of COVID, now find out the internet fees, they don't go up by also and telephone charges they don't go up. Things so we enjoy and always internet with as cheap for the picking they within our school where they go able to do their research, then get a student pack. Then get a student pack from mobile companies here. We make sure say they give them one and they all land they don't cut off and then picking them. So if you say you want to bring quality to education, they picking the one for browse and all the cheapest internet pack now is about 35,000 leones. We are struggling on the picking them. How do they bring quality, able to juxtapose, able to relate to international things, international research and other things. So we look at basic amenities and basic commodities in our country, where for the past 5 years, they don't go press come from 180,000 leones because I mean they pull the food price commodity in Minister of Agriculture, Minister of Trade, let's come up from 180,000 leones, let's down about 670,000 leones. about 260% increase. Palm oil come up from 3,000 leons to 4,000 for pints, where one batter now from 220,000 leons, you don't move up to almost 900,000 leons. We see water bundle. That the night shocked me day before yesterday. Water bundle from 2,000 leons, water bundle long go to 11,000 leons. Now this country has nearly 500% increment. These are the things where they affect me. So the poor man we want for below sound able buy cement because cement is 140,000 leons for bag. These are the things that really affect me. So when they talk about international benchmarks, would I go take award na Dubai? Would I go take award na this? Now so we see degree there scatter over the place. We see government officials them. Would I go take degree na Dubai? Would I go take degree na Panama? Then Kautam square pegs in round holes.
So Abubakar, you know where you talk so right now. Where you make all your points them, you get your manifesto, SLPP manifesto, you get your audit report and other documents them. You just they make they see Imran in you. The time where I be the moderate SLPP program where Imran they come with all of them documents there.
This line of the Bible
Adikam, I want to ask you a question. I just see Imran still in you. The time where maybe the moderate
Usai President Bill sign.
You get me? You get me?
I listen.
Yes. The time where Imran, I be the moderate SLPP program for them. That's why I be the see Imran. Very vibrant, you know, in terms of analyzing the issue, count audit reports, count all them documents them, where for make people get confidence in them, say yes, then sabi for deliver. But when they come, we get different things then because excuses then they. What thing will make una different? When una come for elevate, for pull the people in from this kind of way, how una feels this way.
I will tell you something about the commonalities about me and my brother Imran. Imran and my brother, that's I will tell you. And me and Imran go the same school, St. Edward Secondary School. So we get some common things there. So you go find out, say we debate style and almost the same.
So the question now, since we get it common, how do we make sure say the way how people in the suffer right now, according to them, it not be the same commonalities?
The side where the difference there between me and my brother Imran, where we different, you go find out, say me tall past Imran short past me. You find out, say, Ayala pass Imran dark pass me. So now that party who say can't to deliver, we go able to deliver. Imran, they're not able to deliver because they're not get the apparatus and the people they go deliver. They're not able to put the people in place where they're able to deliver and bring square peg in round holes. Now the difference is in Danby. And we don't in governance, we don't know exactly what's happening. For some of we did down at the street with the common man and we listen. And one thing where we they do, not only quoting President BOC, where it say the good job to Uda Sabi, in the only employ Uda de Sabi. We na the APC, we they go and look for Sierra Leonean because Salona for we look for the best people then where we not say can deliver after elections on done. We don't done about politics, we don't done about campaigning, we look for the people then. We can deliver the best services to the people, we bring them come on board, for make them come work. As we don't see in the APC, the person are the current Minister of Health. When we get Ebola, we consult her, we work and they talk to them. The person when we get as the Deputy Minister of Agriculture and the Minister of Agriculture, Francis Dynema, we work with them. These are people of Sierra Leone and say, we say you can tap into. Just when the financial secretary now, we work with them. Matthew Dingy, we work with them. The former finance minister, we work with all of these people. Even Sadiq Silla, when I've been the deputy minister of transport, we work with these people. We not to the kind party where they say Salona for one set of people. As long as we know that you can deliver, as long as we know say you're competent, as long as we know say you can bring what you take, even the secretary to president trading now Julius Sandy, we work with him now PSRU. All these people we work with them. So we they look for a Sierra Leone who say we they bring everybody together. A Sierra Leone where we will bring cohesion, we bring national unity. A Sierra Leone will be able to deliver. So the ordinary man within a street where they buy 670,000 leons for bag because we know say government not till we get them. We know say state house not till we get them. Now the people of this country now they get them. And when we did it, not to come with excuses. Now for come with solutions to the problem right there. If you go to me and see within a Sandama Boronton, if you go to me on Kuru within a Manoda Sena Moyamba, you go begin to tell and say, we don't meet international benchmark of this, of that. Anyone listen to you.
No, but then they listen because then they listen because people them even when the president they tell them say when the president they tell them say now it is Sidom na UN with other big people and then actually they glad.
Now where they go buy rest, then tell and say 670,000 leons, now 300,000 then and enable buy one bag rest. Now that one day they mon alarm.
Okay.
Now where
so
they
let me
go
come
buy
now to the wrap up of the
enable
program.
buy one pint, you get for buy attributors bottle. Now that one day they mon alarm. So when you talk about governance, it's delivering the service, goods and services to the people, not about speaking English and writing rhetorics and putting it on the wall.
We'll come to the end of the program. Let me ask you this question. You know, now we end the program and it get for look at, because now the people them for begin to take note of waiting them for know and how them for take decision for vote for who that they go want after or inside the 2023 June 24 election. So if una for tell the people them waiting for make them vote for any one of them, for send the government back for the second term, for bring the opposition into governance, waiting una go tell people them right now. At this time around, we get a timer. Let we able forget una for make una points them before we wrap up the program. Let's just set a timer so we'll get equal time for wrap up the program. So I'll start with you, waiting at the opposition. You know, waiting for make you convince people them say, then for actually vote for you or for your party for being back into power. I give you 5 minutes for do that one day. We go.
Thank you. And first of all, the people in there for look at what we've been on do on the record and waiting them this President B administration on do in 5 years. They look at the things the way we allow way we don't do for make the lives of the people them better. The cost of living is very important to all the people them. Outside in the virus now 670,000 leons. The price of goods and services don't go up by over 300 to 400%. And therefore, look at that and look at what they do in terms of infrastructural development. All the things that we say we do, we now works, we not to talks. All the things that they do, construct roads to the major district headquarters town, provide water na all the district headquarters town, pump radio now na all district headquarters town. We make sure say we provide healthcare facility, hospital. So Nixon Hospital na Kailan, so all the hospital we don't create, we don't build. Lumley Hospital, where we start from, we're still under construction. Kiama Road Hospital, Rokupa Hospital, the Kerry Town Hospital, where my brother may talk about, it's not the diagnostic center. Now, a general hospital where go get for day for able to absorb the people in the rural, the people in there for looking at that. And when you look at the things the way we do in terms of the debt in this country, we owe the country in debt to we owe the interest rate to 14%, of which now the country debt is about 44%. I mean 44. The inflation is about 44%. We look at some of the things the way we don't do in this country. We talk about access to justice. During with them, now the same thing happened. Judges and then every district, then they sit in every district. No sign no day where they get case and therefore bring you come to the capital. We may get judges the way they go. I mean on a routine basis, and they go sit down on online cases and we get a lot of things and we want to allow people to look at. Now the promises that this president don't make. He promised Lunge Bridge enabled to him. He promised electric train enabled to him. He promised 2 million jobs enabled to him. Diagnostic center enabled to him. Econ street lights him enabled for do him. Bill Gates investments we not see him. He promised Tapalapa Bekwe go commissioner Wellington about 4 years ago. Enabled to him. New airport na Bo Kenema and Bond we not see him. 200 garbage trucks them where he say enable for do him. Conference center in Lunge we not see him enable for do him. This president also talk about 2 new cities enable for do am Column facility in every district enable for do am fish harbor where it come with and fish harbor complex enable do am agro processing where it say go do enable for do am 50 investors from South Africa today we not see one car where they do diamond 200 bus the way come out China and the current minister of transport and carry down they enable for do that one day. We don't see in the transport sector SLRT, Railroad Transport Authority, the bus the way they were also condemned. When they say no good, they 100 bus way logos Kuruma buy. Now they still in a Ministry of Transport and then a SLRT from where they come. One keke, they not buy for SLRT. We don't see the educational system, the raw Peter for people, educational system, educational school fee in a university don't go up by 400% of which. Then they take from them picking in a college and pay the school fee for them picking in a primary school. We don't see outside and say application fee for university will be free, where the government spokesman Keke Thomas Sandy run in trumpet. Today we not see all them things and we see the scam for fake degree boss, whether na Dominion, whether na Uganda University, we see all them things and we see outside audit report year in year out over 600 billion. Don't go down the drains. We not see the president stamp in foot for make them debate anyone, for make them call people into a book of which we see in the office of the presidency the use of pharmaceutical company for be a travel agency where a pharmaceutical company and Mercy business they do. The president not step in foot for that. Wherein we see fake receipts on the audit report of the president in travel. When about them down there to the president, when we know say the president for step up and stand down and make sure say they bring them people into the book for make it takes some of them back them they from the offices. From the office, we not see that. We see side then say the government don't give money to the office of the first lady, where the office of first lady not a constitutional office, of which they ask the anti-corruption, the audit report be account to book. We see the anti-corruption commissioner, 9-ton PRO, for the office of the first lady, they say that they begin to investigate from Governor Clark's in the West and all take come up. So some of them things are so we don't do, where we don't see, don't show say this government not able to do the
Few
job.
more seconds. Continue. You did it? Hello? All right, I think we don't lost some. If we get like 30 more seconds for end, 30 more seconds, it still get 20 more seconds. Let we go. Maybe you could join me before. Okay. All right, the internet now give them chance. So we the ending time now, and then we go now to Imran. Like we set time. Imran.
You see, the internet's not be fair. Imran then a communication side. I believe say, but the suspect say, I know make they don't touch me internet for make I not end on the note where I'm in there.
Okay, so for lo be fair, you be get 30 more seconds. Lo just give you the 30 seconds. Please go ahead and end. 30 seconds.
Okay, we don't see say this government able to bring the inflation candle, they're able to bring the currency the way they go up and all the other things the way they happen, so that this government not fit for purpose. So the people of this country for make sure that they look at the two approach them, the two parties them, and make sure they vote this government out, because if they left them for another 5 years, we go buy rest at this country 1.5 million euros, and we go buy per mine at this country also for 30,000 for pints, and the thing the way we eat at this country, we not able to buy them, and poor man not able to build cement go down 700,000.
Thank you very much. So let me go now to Imran. Imran, will they do the same timer for you, 5 minutes for make you closing submission on why the people of this country for actually give second term or second chance to the president for rule them again. We start. Go ahead.
You know, so there is somebody on social media who I think say you probably don't see him post them, what they call Sheku Fona. He's an interesting guy, not ever meet and alive, but to get them then timely things than where he can post from term to term. And very recently post something. He say not tell me what to make enough a vote for SLPP again. He said tell me what to make a vote for APC. Convince me as to why I vote for APC as the alternative to the SLPP right now. And I think it says a lot and it speaks volumes, because in nearly over an hour of this program, we know yet, in all of which Abu Dhabi talk for on behalf of the APC and Samura Kamara, now waiting at the clear-cut policies on education, waiting at the clear-cut policies on the infrastructure, waiting at the clear-cut policies on the economy, waiting at the clear-cut policies on healthcare, all of which we Abu Dhabi don't do. It's a familiar posture, which they always done they do now for just criticize some more, in the hope that criticism there could be enough for exonerate them, right? For letting allow their own policies on the economy, for letting allow their own policies on infrastructure and on healthcare and everything else, so that people will be able to take a decision as to which one will they see they unfold as against which are the one that their own policy. Because in the absence of which are their own policies were in other states, we can only go by two things. One, now which in Samuel Kamara himself don't say, you know, and I like Samuel Kamara a lot. You know what he can do? Now, person we're very organic, eh? Yeah, all the scripts in the world for let go talk. Where you that one for talking, they talk out. Not anything for do the script then can get. We remember presidential debates where they ask him, who do you blame? He said, I blame government. Presidential debate for 2018. I should say, remember all the scripture then give Samuel Kamara, say, pana, this for talk, na dande for talk, na this for say, not to dande for say, now I go say, but I blame government, go, na left me. Now, na de right for me, na not to now, now I talk, na the talk. I blame government. Recently, they asked him a specific question on the economy, twice. Before he become presidential candidate, flag bearer again for him party and presidential candidate by extension, they say, which are your plans for the economy? He's saying he's having comments. He said, I reserve my comment. That was on BBC. And then subsequently, now, after I don't become presidential candidate, they ask and say, well, Samuel Kamara, what are your plans for the economy? Because what you make important for throw down into all of the discussions there. It don't serve as financial secretary. It don't serve as bank governor. It don't serve as minister of finance. Not so. On several occasions, it don't do now the structures of this country in economy for the longest time. So Samuel Kamara, if you talk about, you give some data to the second poorest country, Samuel Kamara actually spoke for the answer to this question. because from Ministry of Finance to Financial Secretary to Bank Governor, right, throughout a period of over 20 years, we fend ourselves. So someone come and get fundamental questions then for ask or answer to, yeah, as to how we fend ourselves now the status of fend ourselves so, right, because in record and in CV does not match in aspirations at all. He don't fail so far in all of them positions and they don't fail himself. But here's the point. When they ask him more recently after I don't become presidential candidate now and say, well, Samuel Kama, which my plans for the economy? Now he's saying they can go back to 1961. Samuel Kama taking us back to 1961. Clearly shows say, there anything so about your plan for Kando. He has no policy in place. Recently, he touched on the new Freetown International Airport. Now they ask guys, oh, this place is fantastic. It's a brilliance. It's despite all of them criticisms the way APC don't do on Freetown International Airport, how not this, how not down, not to this, not down. Samuel Kamara actually was there praising us about the airport. He go collect the ID card. They ask, and I say, no, he said this ID card didn't better pass the last one. He said, because the last one, he go register offline. Now he said, now book fees, now they can't get an ID card. That is Samuel Kamara for you. Very organic. Very organic. All anything that the army they talk to Samuel Kamara already, now here they go talk. We left sky script to Nagiam. It comes from the heart for him, right? And he could always acknowledge the things the way this government don't do. So here's my point. How much minutes are left?
In seconds.
Okay, so here's my point. Let Abu Dhabi can now with within them policies, plans, and programs. We don't hear all of them criticism there. They don't do one for 5 years. Bring your policies, plans, and programs. Do not take us back to 1961. Not by any means. Not can go back to 1961. No, can discuss the issues there. You can criticize for all you want, but in the process of criticizing, transition will know which is on a clear cut, and then we can have a discussion on all of the issues.
Thank you very much, Imran Sila, Strategic Communications Unit. I'll ask you one question. This one not go for do the program, and not get for do any of the discussion, but I'll ask you one question.
Yeah.
Plenty time then they if you talk, some people go like what you talk, some people not go like what you talk. Plenty time then they if we analyze issues, some people go like how they analyze them, some people not go like how they analyze them. That's not for you. Before this time, long ago, I've been analyze issues them against the last government. The time where I've been moderate for you. You will like that, but now you not like waiting because I remember in the beginning of the program you bash on me seriously. But I appreciate and I thank you for that because you make I feel like for say I need to do more things them for the people them. So
no. So my point is this. I'm not getting a problem for anybody for criticize. I don't live with them for 5 years. Yeah. And I think it's healthy for this democracy where they live in. But all I'm saying is when you get them contentious issues, them elevate the discussion. That is what I.
Okay, so waiting I want for let you know when we get people them, where we get people them for make them point, where we get people for make them point, we give them the chance because we want them for free their mind. Then when we call on una so, for example, when I call you so, you come within the discussion, una make una point, that now una point. But when we not get una, we discuss other things, it left to the people for discuss, and we expect that.
Yeah, but when you moderate a program, and so I get a few of my friends there where they run radio stations there. This thing you always say to me, and I will say this for the very first time in public. They say when we get contentious issues, then when we say tensions, they don't flare up. They say when we want to get a discussion around the issues, then they will say tensions don't flare up and you get seeming anger on both sides. He said, Imran, he said, now you would always call. He said, you know what you do? He said, because you seem to forget the temperament for the issues, then they, right? For come and get a discussion without necessarily insinuating or, throwing spanners and all that kind of thing. But then we can get a conversation around the issues. He said, so we can always look for you type, yeah, on both sides of the equation and bring on account for getting discussions in it. My point is this. When tensions then they, and una will get them platforms there, una so powerful, right? Una so powerful that if una get the wrong people them and una not able to control them people then they, right? You don't lost the plot big time.
Okay,
right?
so let's make this appeal to you now. Within live, everybody still here and all, but let's make this appeal to you. Going forward, we actually want for the get una plenty for the discuss issues. It's not about I will tell you for real. In any democracy, for let the country go before in the democracy, the opposition get voice. And I can always not to this term no more, not to now. Una term this time around the Lima and other people them I be always done the try for give them voice for let them able for all the government to account. But in the case of USA, you get the government now for una, you dey appear at the show. If una can get plenty of una where they appear frequently, that could help to the especially now that we go to the election, the platform open for una at any time. You know me number already. When they reach on to you, Imran, I will confess, another reach to you it's on issue. That's not the reality. Yeah, but I want for ask now, say, anytime we reach to una, any one of una, if una they give the audience for come and explain, not look to me whether I analyze or not analyze, you come and clear waiting at the issue. Because one thing where we know, when we analyze that different thing, but when we ask questions, when we get una as panel, we get for ask the right question, and that's all. So if una they make the time for the always come and clarify certain things, that could be nice because people want for your una.
No. Look, I agree with you. So this program I particularly make reference to, I think it was a phone-in program. I think there was something happening. I don't know if now the courts are waiting, and you've been the wrong commentary. So people were calling into your program, and I listen and follow them. I was shocked some of the comments that I hear with people in the call. I remember one panel caller then called from the United States of America and try to calm things down and say it talked something around, well now God, let people be patient, let nobody know this, nobody know that. And then your remark, the particular expression was, well, like your opinion that day, people, something towards that end. So my point is this: when things then contentious, you as moderator, you have a platform, you're able to calm things down. That is your responsibility.
So in my opinion, and not about, I know they put a defense, but waiting at they say, for example, now be in opinion, everybody get right to in opinion. That's not exactly what I can use. But we get one policy now. Anything where, for example, they talk about region, they talk about tribe, they talk about hate, where they cancel them and we stop people them instantly. But apart from that, any other thing, person get right to in opinion.
Well, I think say that
we don't do this program or not.
We don't done the program. We did live, but we don't do.
We don't do this program or not. I get for go exercise.
Yeah, you can go. We don't do because we don't talk anything about politics. Rather, we just make we say understand and let people then get the discussion as we go on. This not to be
let people this is the medium. Make them do as they want. Maybe they call me and they say, they can't talk about I come no more. Come in and do your program. Now, una get radio station. Go to a radio station. Let them people let them run the show. As long as they not talk about tribalism, they not talk about hate, they're not going anything personal for me, I'm okay with them.
You could go exercise, Abu Dhabi. Wait, no worry.
Anyway, Imran, end the show, and then I will call you. Let we talk on them things there because we need for put things them in place for the election. Okay.
You might want to go to say to go exercise. I exercise you want
So Imran, we go discuss things them about the election. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
All right. I want to appreciate una time una join me inside the program today. Interesting. For let we get people and for actually come and discuss issues then we get for do it. National interest and especially where you get the government officials them actually always then get the young point. Opposition get the young point. And all man one for let you be now they let you use the glasses for see waiting then the see. But they not get for B. So we always go stand and they stand for the people and the people and voice to be very much important. So we appreciate una all time. Imran Silla, thank you very much from the Strategic Communications Unit. Abubakar Dami from the Communications Unit of the Opposition Party. We appreciate una. And una self we take una time for watch and view the program. Yeah. Now so no more Ekintalek. Right now the opposition go appreciate we so much because we do things we sometimes they lack and the government not go to lack we, but before this time the government where they be the opposition we don't love we before this time, but that is it. We thank you very much until we meet again inside another edition. I want to say plenty thank you to the producer for this show when Ilyas Abba. We appreciate you so much and una always like, comment and subscribe to this program. Thank you all very much. We'll meet you again on net inside the program we call We Are. Slpp, the freedom fighter. God bless we country Sierra Leone where we call We Are.
Another morning again inside we had plenty things then they happen. I wonder how news again what go here today. But this be small country we had. Anyway, before I go to the wala now we had, let's just go to my kitchen and check my colors.
Yes, colors. So man really like for it in the morning. Some people say dem just like wey the heat don sleep. Other people say na the cow dey like, especially when dem cook the soup or plasas wey dem like pass all. So na that make we dey bring to you this program wey we call Colres, as we dey look at different story dem na the front page and inside the newspaper. So no forget to join me on Monday to Friday, both Facebook and YouTube, usai we go bring to una different guests dem wey dey can help for talk about the newspaper. We are the channel for the people.